Hello, everybody, and welcome to this podcast, Building for Peace with Hannah Jewell. That's me, your host. Today we have Demelza Fry with us. Demelza is first and foremost a beautiful soul with an incredible story to share. In 2016, she experienced a fatal car accident, which left her clinically dead for more than 12 minutes. During this time, she chose to come back to her body, back to earth, and she's going to share with us some of the lessons, teachings, and beauty she's received through this experience. Since the accident, Demelza has trained as a Reiki master and is now slowly opening to her felt purpose in sound healing, humanitarian work, and music. Welcome to the cast, Demelza.
Thank you, Hannah.
Demelza, can you tell us a little bit about your background, who you were before the accident, perhaps about your cultural upbringing, your work in the theater, and your general outlook?
So, before the accident, I was a stage manager in theatre and I toured for over 15 years, and I was constantly on the road, and I always wished that I would be based and have somewhere where I could have my own home and to visit friends and to let friends come and visit the house, and that's what I always longed for. So from week to week I would be in a different city, mainly in the UK, and it was hard work, full on, living on the road. That's why I really longed for a base and just to settle down. So I actually moved to Brighton to just kind of settle down a bit, and I was looking for work. I was here for about a month before the accident happened, so I didn't really I didn't know anyone in Brighton, and then that happened. So yeah, in terms of cultural upbringing, I've always lived in the UK, apart from I'm half Persian, so Iranian, otherwise known as, and so I did actually grow up visiting Iran and my family there, and so I learnt how to speak Farsi and not read and write, didn't get there. And so I did visit there a lot growing up, but also I did move there because it looked like we were going to live there forever. So at the age of 15 moved. Then after a year we had to come back for several reasons, and yeah, in terms of that.
Yeah, I feel these things really were such a deep part of you, and in the time that I've known you, training in Reiki and being your friend, I've seen these influences shape you and change shape. I've seen the Farsi and Persian influence come through in this development in your music, and I've seen the work in theater come alive with joy and play, and it's been delightful. And so your transformation through the accident helped to bring some beautiful qualities from your previous life forward, and maybe leave a lot of things behind as well.
I've definitely got a good skill set just from the work in theatre as a stage manager. It's definitely made me, I don't know what the words are, but yeah.
Yeah, well, how you've managed your recovery is incredible, and that has to do maybe with your stage management.
But also massively, hugely due to all the people helping me, like from the nurses to the doctors to the team. I've had an amazing team that's helped me get through, but also trying to explain, but my mother, she was there for me every day in hospital.
Your beautiful mother, let's honor her right now, because Demelza's mother has passed recently, and her name was Sudabe. And so
Sudi, and Sudabe.
Yeah, she is here with us today, helping you to share your story.
Yeah.
So much love to her. Yeah. Thank you for being here at this sensitive time. I so appreciate you coming through to share your story in this moment. It's such a gift for all of us.
Thank you. Whatever I can do to help and share.
Mm-hmm. When was the accident?
It was October 2016.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us how you experienced it? What happened is important, but also how you experienced that moment and the events surrounding that.
In terms of how I actually experienced the accident, luckily, touch wood, I don't remember the memory because there's certain things that I got from the accident, injuries, etc. One of them was hypoxic brain damage, so there was a lack of oxygen to the brain for a certain length of time, so it did, and I don't like admitting it. I'm very into like hiding it and, you know, just being strong and keep going forward and all of that, but it's more like I would say my personal trainer would recognise it more cognitively, with certain things that she's asked me to do, and I've really got to work out in my brain what I need to do to get it. It's more noticeable. It's hardly noticeable to anyone else, but I think anyone who would notice it more would be my personal trainer. And yeah, the recovery team, from physios, what's she called? My neuropsychologist that I had. It's taken a pretty few years to get here because it was in stages. There was the physical recovery first, and then when that got to the stage of being able to focus on the neurological side, and then when that got to a stage, then it went back to the physical. I'm still, you know, trying to get my body, I am getting my body back to where it was pre-accident physically. There's some injuries that will remain, but just doing what I can to just keep going.
Yeah, you're amazing. I mean, this whole journey with the Thai boxing and the way you move, I would never have known that you were in an accident and had all this physical damage. And also never would have guessed that there was brain damage. You speak so coherently and your heart expresses itself so clearly.
Thank you. Yeah, I never ever I'm not a fighter. I will never hit anyone, so I'm using it's Muay Thai, which uses the 8 limbs. The reason why I started doing it is because I went to Thailand to do a yoga retreat, which really, the yoga massively strengthened the muscles in my legs because I was bedbound for certain lengths of time. It really deteriorates the muscles. So even up to 2 years ago, my leg muscle strength hadn't returned. So I did the yoga retreat, and then shockingly by the end of the week, I mean, it's still still working on it. I was like, oh my God, my leg strength feels me again. But whilst I was on that yoga retreat, they get you to try out a free class of Muay Thai, private one-to-one, and I was like, oh my God, this is not me. and I couldn't even kick properly, especially with the left leg, and now I haven't at the moment, because Mum's passed recently. I'm not focusing on that so much. It's more with the physical, just with the training for mental health reasons, but with the Muay Thai, it's really good. It's a great cardio. I don't fight anyone. I only do one-to-ones with the trainer, and also it's brilliant for what's it called, coordination. It's really great training for coordination. So that's what I've been using it as. It's kind of still a recovery rehab physically. And yeah, I'm definitely much better in the legs and stronger than I was when I first started. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, your videos that you post on social media with you doing the Muay Thai are just incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go back to the accident, because these details are important.
Yeah.
I believe that you were without oxygen and perhaps clinically dead for as much as 12 minutes, which is incredible. People don't come back from that amount of time, and yet you did.
So, a lot of the nurses and even the the paramedic and even the A&E team and all of that, they couldn't believe that they've never seen anyone with my injuries survive. So I don't remember it from my brain, but I did about 1 or 2 years after the accident, I did go to a women's festival and I had a shamanic massage, and they were working on the meridian lines in the body. I went with the intention to heal my heart, but that's from heartbreak, romance and all that. So that was my intention, but when she was working on the meridian lines, and specifically in this area, it triggered my fascia memory, my muscle memory, to remember, because the body holds the trauma. So I then, because she triggered that, in that massage, I then saw my death journey.
Can you tell us about your death journey?
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to hear this.
So I realised I had died, and so I'm just explaining, but I think I went up. I went somewhere, and I believe it was up. I didn't see going up, but I went somewhere where it was just pure light. I don't want to say white because it sounds clinical, but it's just everywhere was the same colour. It was just pure light. There was no difference between the floor and just pure light. And I was walking around trying to work out where to go next. I think I was looking for a signpost or something, and I was just like, where do I go? And the music in the shamanic massage, the healing music, it changed to a Hare Krishna song. And at this point I saw my friend who was also my music producer at the time, because I just started recording, and she was Hare Krishna, and she passed away 3 months before my accident.
Wow.
So yeah. So she just literally smiled at me with a big cheeky grin that she always had. And then my dad appeared. I'm going to try not to get emotional. But my dad appeared, and he died. I'm not emotional because I'm sad sharing it. It's just, I think, because I'm more emotional with Mum at the moment.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, and my dad had died suddenly out the blue 2 years before, and I always felt in my heart that it was for a reason. I knew it, but I didn't know why. And then he appeared in that, after seeing my producer friend Jack, just smiling at me. Then my dad appeared, and he just, with this big grin, just smiled. There was no words exchanged, but I just knew from that it wasn't my time. They weren't letting me in. They're my bouncers. I've got bouncers. So then I came back down, and before going into the body, I was above my body watching them work on me. I think I was still on the floor, where the accident happened, and seeing them work on me, and I made the conscious decision to go back into my body. And as soon as I started going back into the body, I had the absolute faith that they would get me through. And that's what I remember from that shamanic massage. It's not from my brain memory. Luckily, the brain memory doesn't remember any of that, because I think it would be quite traumatic.
So much pain, exactly. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
And there's so many things. There's so many miracles that happened that night. From the air ambulance, and somebody was helping the air because they couldn't land near me. It was a couple of roads down. Somebody saw the man running. The men running, or it might have been women, I don't know. Saw the air ambulance crew running, so they stopped, drove them to me. The paramedic was already doing absolute wonders. from the next door neighbour who just looked out the window once she heard the bang to she went down because her daughter had the same colour and same make of car. And so she thought somebody was nicking the daughter's car, so she opened the driver's door thinking it was going to be somebody seeing the car, but it wasn't. And and so they took that person in and inside to calm them down, because they were obviously a bit traumatised. Well, not a bit, but and I was still under the car, and when the lady came back out, she just came out to check her car because see the damage to it, and luckily when she got to me, that's when I did my last breath, and that's when she called the 999, and the paramedic was 1 minute away getting dinner. It was like, and there's so many, like, and even to it was about, I'm jumping forward a bit, about 7 months after the accident. Before that, actually, in the month leading up to the accident, I was on the train reading a self-development book, because I was already into, becoming the better version of yourself with self-development and stuff. And I was reading this book, this woman started talking to me because of the book I was reading, and she shared with me that she did this form of dance releasing trauma through movement. And I was like, that sounds interesting. I added her on Facebook, and I was new to the area, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then obviously we went our ways, accident happened. Anyway, 7 months after the accident, or whatever it was, I was scrolling, and then I see this class. I was like, this looks interesting, I would like to try this. But obviously at this point I've got a leg brace, my mobility isn't what it was. And so I reach out to her to say, to ask, I was like, I'd like to do this, but is this possible with my mobility? And at that point, this woman that I'd met before the accident, she tells me that she was my nurse in intensive care.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So when I was in my coma, and also later on I learned that she did Reiki. So there's the connection with the Reiki, like, so I feel, nobody's ever told me this, but I just feel there was definitely Reiki being done on me whilst I was in my coma, because that's the only way I can understand being able to walk and talk after that amount of time without oxygen and stuff like that. So yeah, I had many angels that night.
Yeah.
Many angels, and I'm still in contact with her, so it's beautiful connections.
So let's honor her right here in this space. What was the name of this incredible nurse who did the Reiki on you and who does these wonderful dance workshops?
Her name was Rachel. She's not in this country anymore working, she's working in a different country right now, but and it was really beautiful when I did go to the class, and she actually it's going to get me emotional again. One of the song that she put on, what was it? It was a Celine Dion song, I'm Alive. Celine Dion song, I'm Alive. So that was like, that was really powerful, and it was Biodancer, it was the dancing, and it really was a massive part of my recovery, with releasing the trauma, knowing how to, I've always been into dancing, like even when I was much younger, I was always about just going with the music and things like that, so it did resonate, but it was so helpful, and I wanted to do it more often, rather than, I think it was once a month, because I was noticing that my physical movement when I was doing this was more than I can do when I wasn't doing it. So physically I was doing moves that was like, but it was all done safely and stuff, but I was like, how am I doing these moves when I can't do that? And so I asked her if there was any other classes I could do, and she recommended me to another friend who did similar and who I'm very, very good friends with now. And yeah, I think most of my friends now in Brighton are all on that spiritual healing and all of that kind of journey. So from the accident, and that's created the people I'm around these days. Yeah,
the friends who come to the house, who visit, who you visit. So in a way, what you were really longing for opened up.
It did,
but in the most unexpected.
I might have chosen a different way. Slightly less painful way, dramatic, but yeah, really, really grateful. And yeah.
We'll get back to your spiritual opening in a moment, but I would like to bring forward this incredible piece of the story, which I've heard from you so many times, is when the doctors told you that you would never walk again, and you, in yourself, said, "You don't know who I am." This will, this faith, which came when you chose to come back, which gave you this will to live and this determination to go through your recovery, all these years that it's taken. Tell us a little bit about that.
What, they didn't actually say that you will never walk again. That wasn't what they said. They said you will not be able to do most sports, like fast moving sports or sports again. And I just, every part of my body just went, "You don't know me." I'm surprised how quickly it came out of my mouth, but it was just like, no. So I can't remember the doctor's name or anything, but if I could, I would send him videos of me doing the Muay Thai. And I mean, I haven't tried squash. I love squash. I haven't done it for a very long time, so I would love to try that. Probably fast turning moves, I probably need to train into that and make my ankles stronger and things like that. But I think if anyone tells you you can't do anything, my instant reaction is like, no. So it was straight away, that's not me. You don't know me.
You are a powerful woman.
Thank you.
Yeah. A powerful woman with so much support.
Definitely, I couldn't have done it without the support.
Let's talk about your spiritual opening, since that's come forward, and how your spiritual awakening has changed your life since this moment in time.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the accident started that journey, and definitely the circle of people and women, and mostly women. There were men in the dance, but like the circle of people I was surrounding myself with were on that level already. So I'd always sit there, and I think we were in a meet-up group, a women's meet-up group, and they would talk about things, and I'm like, I'd still like, what? And now I'm there, I get it now. I can't remember what they were talking about, but I was just sitting there going, okay, whatever. It's just like, and now I'm there, so it's brilliant. It's gone full circle. What was the question again?
Your spiritual opening,
okay.
Because this is such a foundation of your current life. Since I've known you, you came to me for Reiki training. Well, the story of how we met is really fun. Yeah.
So we, because of the accident, and I was taught by my neuropsychologist that in order to keep off depression, because my mobility, at certain points I wasn't independent at all, and that was really hard. And then I was semi-independent, and I've always been so independent that I was like, so what the neuropsychologist shared with me is the 3 pillars, and something I'd like to share to help others. And I'm actually using it now with dealing with my mother and her passing on, is the 3 pillars. And it's every day looking at the pillars, checking what the balance is, making sure you keep them all level. So the first pillar is sense of joy. So do something every day that just can bring you loads of joy, but it doesn't need to be big, it just could be tiny. Like even colouring in, a bit of colouring in, the section is filled in if it brings you joy, or whatever brings you joy, go for a walk if you can, or things that you can do. Listen to some music that brings you joy. The second one was sense of achievement. So it's not doing something massive again, just do something that brings you a sense of achievement. Like even if you're not feeling like going out, which I'm at that stage at the moment, to go out and do it, and go on that walk, or go out when you're not feeling it, it gives you that sense of achievement when you've come back, and also it could bring you joy at the same time. And the third one is being around people. Now this is massive. So when I was bedbound in hospital, I couldn't unless people came to me. But what I did do is I put pictures all over, well, my mum and my friends put photographs all over the walls, because I was moved from a main ward into a single ward, and so on the walls were all the cards, but also pictures of my friends and family. So they were around me, even though when I was on my own, it was still difficult there, but that really helped. So if you are ever in a situation where you can't physically be around people, then put pictures up of people that that you love and care for. Looking after the flowers.
They're talking to us.
And but also, just if you are mobile and able to go out, just going for a walk. So many times it was only a 5-minute walk. I wasn't feeling, really was getting down, but I was able to walk 5 minutes up the road to get myself into a coffee shop, and just to sit there and be around people, or sit in a park and have people around you, because this is really good for our mental health. We need to see other people. It's so good for the mental health and the body. So so for example, if I did go for that walk, I got the sense of joy by treat myself to, I don't drink coffee, but treat myself to a tea or a cake or something at the time, and sense of achievement getting out when I didn't want to. So that really, I felt I achieved something doing that, and being around people. So it hits all three things, and that's something I'm really using at the moment, just daily. And it's about focusing just on the day. Don't look too far ahead if you're in that place. Just take it a day at a time, and then at the end of the day, what you're grateful for, what have you achieved, look at those things, take it step by step. But I've gone on total tangent.
This
What was the question?
Really, really important tangent.
Okay.
Because this knowledge from the neuropsychologist now we all can benefit from.
Yeah.
We all can apply this in our lives. Everybody hits a low moment at some point. That's guaranteed. It's life. And if we can all bring a sense of joy, a sense of achievement, and get around other people, then, excuse me, I'm getting emotional too, then we have sort of a map out of that labyrinth of despair. Yeah.
And just know it's never, so many points of the physical recovery, I just felt like it was taking forever. And I've got a friend that's going for a similar, not as bad as mine, but in terms of the leg and knee recovery, she's going through similar at the moment. And I'm just like, you've got this. It feels, when you're in it, it feels like it's going to take forever. But once you're out of it, you just look back and you go, that was nothing. So when you're in it, it feels like it's not going to change, but you just got to remember you will get through it.
And it's been 8 years now since
nearly,
the accident.
Nearly.
Yeah, nearly 8 years. So this is a long process. It didn't happen overnight.
No.
No. How many years was it before you were able to walk to the coffee shop, and how many years was it before you were able to do yoga and Muay Thai, and how many years before you started to feel in your power again?
I can't remember, because memory of that time, because I was on morphine for certain parts of it. I was off the morphine quite quickly. I was in the hospital, and then I got moved to an old people's home
Oh, wow.
Being the youngest in old people's homes, quite like my neighbour was 100 years old, and I was like, I've just died. I've come back to life. I was like, what's going on? I think the way to do it is just on a daily basis. If you focus too far ahead, it just may feel like it's taking forever, which it does feel anyway. And I don't know how. I've seen the videos of me in the hospital, like when I first walked again, which was painful. It's like, I'm so positive and like, I don't know how I did it. Like, I blow myself away watching the videos back now. But just focus, don't look too far ahead. Just focus on what you can do that day. Focus on what the closer goals.
So what a teaching to be in the present moment.
Yeah, it's about being present.
In this state, there's nowhere else you can be, but just in the present moment. Yeah.
But yeah, there's good to have goals, because like, in terms of how long it took, I can't remember. So, I mean, when I first started walking, first I had to be pushed in a wheelchair places. Then when I could, it's not a Zimmer frame, it's called a rollator, which it's like a frame, but it's got the wheels on it. So I would go for a little walk myself, not too far, but I can't remember the length before I was without the frame. And yeah, I can't give you unless I sat down and worked out. But I was able to walk within a year. I was walking. But because I had to build up the leg strength, because they couldn't operate on the knee until the muscles were strong in the legs again. So I was working actually within a year. I was already training with a personal trainer, because I needed to build my muscle strength up to be able to get the knee operation to reconnect stuff. So, but we've come on a massive deviation from the spiritual journey question.
Yeah, so let's go back to it now. Yeah, what would you like to share with us about this spiritual opening? It's all important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so many parts to it. Again, we've gone from, we were saying how we met. So that's why I was sharing about the neuropsychologist, because I needed to be around people. So I started booking myself into mosaic classes. I love art, always have, and so I was doing mosaic, and I was doing mosaic class with Caroline, and you were at the class, and we just started talking. You shared about your book, and that my ears just pricked up, and I was like, that sounds really interesting, I'd like to read that book. So I had the book, and I didn't read it straight away, but I had it, and I was like, I need to read this. And then when I read it, I was like, okay, I'd like to know more. And then that led me to, I just came across your website, and it said about the Reiki training. I was like, something led me to that. I've always followed my gut. I've always known that when I've not listened to my gut, and I've always known afterwards that, okay, that's what, I'm not making sense right now. When I didn't listen to my gut, I was always shown that wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
So from a quite early age, I've listened to my gut, and so my gut just went, do this, okay. So I came along and did that, and that's led me on to the journey that I'm on now as well. And I went on to, I did the Reiki training. And then I was ill in Thailand when I was there, and they were starting to do, I think I had acupuncture, and also I went for a Tibetan sound bowl healing. And I was like, what is this stuff again? I'm still not on that page yet.
You had gone on a trip to Thailand just for your mental health and perhaps for the Muay Thai.
It was for the training, it's for the fitness, for my fitness levels as well, and the muscles. And so I went there. And you just
had like a stomach bug.
I think at the time we didn't know what it was. I was getting a rash all over my skin. It ended up just being allergy to the washing powder. But it was just constant, and wouldn't go away, and we couldn't work out what it was. So I went to the Chinese doctors over there and things like that, and they do things like that. There was obviously other stuff going on with my body because he picked up things and was doing the acupuncture, but I went to so that wasn't, the rash wasn't going down. I ended up going to this Tibetan sound bowl healing. It was a 1-to-1, and he did this treatment on me, and I was like, that's amazing. I had to, that was in Chiang Mai, and I had to go back to Phuket to do some fitness because I just popped there for a little bit. And I was like, okay, I need to come back and train. When I come back to Chiang Mai, I need to do that course.
The sound healing course with the Tibetan bowls.
Tibetan bowls.
Which has become like a cornerstone of your emerging purpose. This work with sound.
Sound, yeah.
And the voice and...
Oh my God, the sound.
And music.
The voice journey, that's another story. So should I go into that?
Yeah, let's bring it on.
Okay, so I've always sang, but I mean, I was a stage manager. It's much more comfortable being backstage. It's so much more comfortable letting somebody else stand forward, take all the limelight, fame, whatever. I'm the one who was always making sure that was perfect and getting everything there, ready for them. So, you know, I've worked with singers and all of that, and actors, not just singers, but it was just really interesting. So I did do a little bit of singing before the accident, and I was a singer-songwriter, have done that. And then, when was it? I can't remember, it must have been 2 or 3 years ago, it might have been 2 years ago, or 3, not sure. I was at a friend's birthday. This friend was a shaman, and she had a lot of her friends in the room were what we call elders, and there's a big shamanic drum in the middle of the room, and it's like all this. Anyway, there were these two, the man and this woman singing, and I was just like transfixed by their voices. Like they were taking me somewhere else, and I went up to the lady at the end, Maria, who's now a friend. It's amazing. And I went up to her, I was like, thank you so much. She's on a stage, so she's higher than me. I was like, thank you so much. It's just so beautiful. And because she was higher than me, rather than, she couldn't hug or anything, so she just leant forward and put her forehead on my forehead. And when our foreheads touched, I felt this bolt of lightning shoot through my body. And I heard an old man's voice in my head, not outside. I heard an old man's voice going, release the voice, in this really deep voice. And I was like, okay. It was like, so that started my releasing the voice journey and my singing. And actually, I reached out to Maria and explained what had happened. And I didn't ask her at first because I didn't think, first of all, I didn't know what she'd think about what I'd say, but and then I asked her and I shared what happened, and she said, yeah, I'll be your coach. So I was working with her, I can't remember, for a year or so. She's had a child more recently, so I've not been working with her since then because the baby's not the baby is, you
babies
know,
take all the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she was pregnant at the time. It was just, yeah, it wasn't working, and I was going off and doing things. But
this started your healing to release the voice.
This is making me, I'm still uncomfortable singing, like, but I know that I need to share the voice. I've been led on this journey and I've been sharing the voice, and I'm being told that I need to share it even more. I'm like, okay. It's like, so I'm really, and it's really interesting because I've recently, on a completely different subject, but I've witnessed someone who, I went to a conference recently about health. This lady called Barbara O'Neill was sharing about how the body heals naturally, and if you give it the right conditions. But when she's on stage, she's delivering all the information, but when she's off stage, she's like so just shy and meek, not meek, I think that's the wrong word, but
humble, maybe.
So humble, but really shy. And I was like, and this is only recently I've seen this, and I was like, okay, I can still be myself. I've just got to somehow get to that stage of putting myself on that stage and facing the fear. It's about feel the fear and do it anyway, but yeah, I've still got to keep facing that fear. It's a daily, and that really helped with the recovery. The books that I'd read before my accident, like all those self-development books, like Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, Susan Jeffers, and so many other books, that was massive in my recovery, because and I'm still facing fears now in my, sometimes in the gym or personal training sessions, there's things that I'm being asked to do and it's still scary because I'm still obviously holding fear in the body. And so it's like, okay. And there's Mel Robbins wrote the 5 Second Rule, brilliant book, and it's about, you got count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. Because if you give longer, you're less likely to do it. So that's why I end up still using, like, if my personal trainer is saying, can you do this? I'm like, just standing there, just to stand up on a bench, like from both legs up, or, you know, it's obviously changed over the years. I'm like, fine, we'll do it. But sometimes it takes longer, but still, those books are amazing. I recommend them to anyone.
So the first time you take the stage to share your voice, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh,
I know, it sounds easy, but I'm still like, oh. But actually in the body, and this is something Mel Robbins shares, in the body, it's actually the same chemical that's being released. Excitement and fear. Obviously, there's different kinds of fear. There's protection fear, to protect you. That's a different kind of fear. I'm talking about stage fright or things like that. They both release the same chemical in the body. And it's you that needs to tell the body, I'm excited. So I did this with my mum. She was getting emotional. She was really scared of driving past tall lorries. And so after I'd been on this conference with this woman and also read the book, I was like, so when we were driving past the lorries, and I was like, you've got to say you're excited. And it got to the point at the first, she was like, I'm excited. And then when we got to, you know, drove a little bit, but she was going, I'm excited, driving past the lorries. It was really genuine. But it's that you can actually tell your body, but obviously when there's things that you need to be fearful of, that you need to, that put you in danger, that's a different thing. But yeah, I still need to work on facing my fear, for sure.
I'm totally going to apply this. I'm excited. And tell my body I'm excited and count down from 5.
But in terms of my spiritual journey is still evolving. I'm just going where I'm being led. I'm just open to where I'm being led. And like, do I need to look at this? Okay, there's a reason why I've been led here. So I've got more singing. I'm constantly challenging myself with the singing, so I'm putting myself on like singing retreat with Pia I've done, and I've got one coming up with Pia and Anna from Kurawaka, and that one's more about, because my voice is kind of shut down because of the grief. So so I'm going to challenge myself by going to that to kind of help get the voice out. Yeah. And
beautiful Sudi's going to be singing with you.
She keeps, I think I was having a Reiki session with you, getting treatment, and I was being told, sing by my mum, and I was like, I can't. I'm getting a Reiki session. I can't do it now. No.
You have such a beautiful voice, Demelza. It's such a joy to see you sing, especially when you freestyle and some of those Persian notes and rhythms come through. It just touches my soul so deeply, and I cannot wait for the moment when this develops more fully and it's really shared. I'm going to be one of your #1 fans.
Thank you. I'm going, because of Mum's passing, I'm going to, obviously, I haven't been back to Iran in 25 plus possibly years. I've got like half of my family's out there on my mum's side, so because of mum's passing I'm obviously going to want to visit the family and be with them. And whilst I'm in Iran I want to go and visit, like I only ever saw like certain main cities like Tehran or Isfahan, but and Mashhad, but I want to go and visit Persepolis and, you know, Shiraz, and I really want to, if I can, immerse myself in the Persian culture as much as I can, especially with the singing. I mean, I can't sing publicly there because you're not allowed as a woman, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what I can bring back.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will help with the voice.
You can immerse yourself, you can sing in the private spaces there, and then you can bring it forward for us here. Such a treasure. Such a treasure.
Thank you.
I mean, your life is this incredible blend of like mainstream self-development work, all of these spiritual tools. I mean, Tibetan sound healing, Reiki, shamanism, you know, these are all blending within you, as well as the incredible work of the allopathic system and the paramedics and the nurses. To me, you are a living embodiment of unity of the different cultures which have touched you, and this is this is a shining example for all of us to embrace everything that's working without judgment. Doesn't have to be this or that or this or that or boxed or classified. If it's moving within us and working, let's embrace it. Let's weave it into something new, something truly beautiful, which is our life. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more now about how your perspective of life on Earth and life in general has shifted since this accident. I feel you have much to share, and this ties into the humanitarian work which is slowly developing in you. You have a deep sense, when we're praying by the fire, you have a deep sense of life and the value of life, obviously. But you embody it in a way that those of us who have not died and come back are able to embody it. Tell us about the importance of life on Earth from your perspective in the bigger picture, collective picture.
I think obviously I'm grateful for every breath I take because it's extra. And I think that shifts a person for sure. Grateful for every step. I think gratitude is huge, is a huge thing. If you want your life to shift, you need to have gratitude for what you have in the moment. And there's points where I didn't, you know, I've been various stages in my life of having nothing. I think actually when I was, I think I was reading E minor squared or E squared minor. It's to do with the law of attraction. I very much believe in the law of attraction. And I was doing, you know, at the point where I was literally had nothing. I think it was not long after Dad died. I was living in London. My family were dealing with the grief. I was working. No, this is after I was working. I didn't have any money, but I manifested this flat in, where's it called? Bloomsbury. This beautiful flat in Bloomsbury. A director friend phoned me up out of the blue. I think it was, came back to do this show, and the director was saying, and I was living with my parents at the time, just about to start the show, but I would have had to travel from Surrey to London, and being the job that I was, I needed to be there before anyone arrived. And the director said to me, where do you want to live, a flat or a room? And I went, a room, or wherever I can stay. And I heard myself when I was walking to the tube, I was like, I want a flat and I want it for free. And within half an hour, and I didn't say that to him, I said that in my head, like when I was walking by myself, and within half an hour of me saying that, I had a friend call up who offered me if I wanted to stay in a flat in London, because she knew I was working in town, and I was like, how much do you want? And she was like, just look after it for me. And I went, okay. It's like, and that I've done it so many times. I can't even do the stories of what I've manifested. And it always makes me cry when I do it, because I was like, this is powerful stuff. Good cry is like shocking. Like, So yeah, and I've gone a total deviation of the question again, but
no, this is about life on earth, and you're talking about gratitude.
Yeah, that's key.
And gratitude in the law of attraction is so important. A lot of people get focused on the material thing that they actually want to manifest when they're working with the law of attraction. But actually the quality of gratitude is the more important aspect. Yeah. And then what's coming to me as I'm listening to you is the depth of your faith. In the Sufi path we pray, God strengthen my faith. We don't ask so much for specific things. We say, God strengthen my faith. This is so important for the possibility of truly living, not just being alive, going through the motions, but truly living with a sense of joy and purpose is the quality of our faith. This and gratitude together, wow.
And the faith comes with, like, when I started manifesting, I was like, this works. So what I've manifested, there's absolute faith that it works, because I do. Like, even to start small, start on wishing for that right parking space to be exactly where you need it, and you need to believe in it for it to work, otherwise it doesn't. But gratitude is massive. And it's about being in the now. It's looking to, again, going back to being in the now. That's why I've come back to this more recently, the now, because of the journey I'm on now. And yeah, I think that's key. I know it's hard in the world we live in, because there's so many things that are ahead that we want to get to, or work, or things that we need to come out of the being in the now. It's not so easy for everyone to be in the now, like, all the time. So when you can, just make sure you make space for yourself, and self-love is key as well, as massive. And I used to say that, I remember I was saying to you earlier, when we were sitting in the conversations with the women and they're talking about these things, and I'm like, because I wasn't ready for it yet.
Self-love, whatever.
I was like, I don't understand. But there was other things that I didn't understand. I can't remember what they were. The feminine and all the wording, and I was like, this is because I'd come from a completely different world of all of this stuff, because I was because the accent I was led to it, I think. And the now, and make sure you make time for yourself. And no matter how busy you are, there's always time. If you watch TV, you can always turn the TV off for an hour. If you do that, I know I don't have kids, so I can't come from that perspective, but just sharing that, if you can make just a little bit of time, just even if you've got kids and you've dropped them off somewhere, just make some time for yourself, like some self-love. I'm just going to make myself have a bath and shut the door with a candle on. Just give myself those minutes, because self-love is really, really important. And there's a journey. I mean, self-love is a journey. We're all still on the journey. There's never an end, I don't think.
Until the truly last breath, there is no end. Our understanding of love, of faith, of joy is going to keep evolving. And if it stagnates, we stop to be alive. This is my experience. It either grows infinitely or it stagnates. There's no stopping that river if we want to truly live.
I think who is it that shares it's about living the power of now, Eckhart Tolle?
This book really influenced me at one point in my own journey. Demelza, your story is inspiring. It's inspiring not only to hear, but to put into place the lessons that you've been able to bring forward for us. I'm so thankful for your life. I'm so thankful that you're here and you've made this choice, and that the angels and the people and everything transpired to bring you to this moment of your being here on earth. I can't wait to see what you do with your humanitarian work and your voice and your sound healing. It's only just emerging, but what an inspiration to all of us, that through the physical recovery, the mental, neurological recovery, emotional recovery, that there is inspiration and offering that comes then. Yeah.
I think with everything we go through, I mean, there's certain things I haven't gone through, so I can't talk for everyone and everything, but if we are able to grow from it or heal from it, if it's something that we need to heal from to grow, then we are becoming a better version of ourselves. Doesn't mean that we should go through certain things to get there, but if we, I've definitely become the person I am even more through going through what I've gone through, and especially with the accident, and I love that what I can do is share that, share what my neuropsychologist shared with me that can help others, share the journey that I'm helping with a friend who's going with the knee recovery at the moment. Whatever I can do to help others, I'm grateful to be back for.
Bless you, Demelza. Bless you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or express with our listeners or viewers today? Anything that wants to come through that I might not have thought to ask, or that is just wanting to come in this moment?
The police siren. I can't.
That's life out there, going by on the road. This location teaches me that life goes by and we stay in our center.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you think of anything? I think I've shared a lot of what I wanted to share in terms of what can help others, but just if anyone's at the point of really struggling, it will get better. And we are living in an interesting time right now. So, and with that, there's people passing and things like that. So just take it a day at a time, and especially if it's getting overwhelming. Just take it one day at a time. Self-love, gratitude, focus on what you can do. Yeah. If somebody says you can't do, tell them.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. I need to get it on a t-shirt.
And keep that sensitivity wide open in the process.
And how about having a humour? I know some things aren't funny, but if you can look back at them and find them funny, there's some things I look back at, it's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. But I got through it, and being put on people's home when you just died, come back to life, and you're like, what's going on? So I think that was an interesting. That was interesting. It was there was one night, I think, because they come around and they tell you what's for food for dinner and what do you want, and they said tin tomatoes on toast, and I was like, what? I've never had tin tomatoes on toast, so I'm not the age to have that. But I was like, who wants Indian? I wanted an Indian. So they didn't like me there because I was causing, I was getting the OAPs to kick up. Anything is possible when you believe it's possible. If you don't believe it, it won't happen. But there's, you know, if you don't, you know, there's so many books out there that have helped me become the person I am. And I used to hate reading. I hated reading. So, and I did start reading as something I was doing, and they said you need to read 10 pages of a self-development book every day, and I was like, I don't read. And so start with a couple of pages. I need to actually get back into reading again because I've fallen out of it. So I do need to get myself back in, but just read a couple of pages a day. There is actually something called Miracle Morning, which is actually a book itself. I can't remember the writer right now who wrote it, but the Miracle Morning, it spells, there's something called lifesavers, and the savers spell, so if you get up an hour in the morning, an hour before you need to, and just honour yourself with this time, it really helps with the day and everything, that your outcome of the day. So savers spells, S is for silence, so either prayer or meditation, which I need to get back into. A is affirmation, V is visualization, E is exercise. And this is only like 10 minutes of each, because in that hour. Exercise, SAVE, are reading a couple of pages or up to 10 if you can. S, savers, and that is scribe, so journaling. So you can use your gratitude in there, write down what are you grateful, like before you're going to bed, just think of 3 things that you're grateful for and just write them down, or you can do full-on journaling as well. So that really helped me. And it's you don't stick, you know, there might be people out there that stick to the things all the time, but I've fallen off the wagon. And the reason why I started meditation in the first place, because I never meditated. My dad passed away suddenly, and I was like not the person who would meditate, but I was a very different person back then. And the people that were helping me suggested meditation, and so I started that, and now and a lot of people say that they struggle with meditation because they can't get their head to be still in their head, the noise to be still. But if you just think of it as it's a sky, we've got blue skies at the moment, which is amazing. It hasn't been for that long, but just imagine it's a blue sky and you're laying down on the grass and you see just one little cloud, and these are your thoughts that are passing, and rather than going to the cloud, I can't, you just move, just think, imagine that you're just touching it with a feather. I can see you, I honour you, and you're going. And it's blue sky again. But sometimes there's more clouds than just the one cloud, but it's just seeing that thought or recognising that thought. I know you're there, I'm going to honour you, I'm not going to fight you to stop you, I'm going to go, okay, you're there, I'll let you go. And then just keep doing that, and it just gets a bit easier.
Thank you so much for everything you shared with us, Demelza.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And thank you for your life. And thank you, Great Spirit, for Demelza's life.
Thank you. And thank you, dear Mum, for bringing me in. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please tune in to the cast via the website, SoundCloud, Spotify, or YouTube. If you've got a story to share, or you'd just like to share your response to this cast, please do get in touch. jewelofpeace.com is my website. You can contact Demelza directly. Her contact information will be in the links if you'd like to follow up with her on any of her powerful projects, brewing, her sound healing, or just to be in touch and give her your gratitude and feedback. So much love and peace to you today.